There was a McDonald's data breach that happened in July 2025, this month, when security research discovered the serious flaws in the McHire hiring system. The AI-powered platform used a chatbot called Olivia to talk with job applicants and help manage the recruitment process. The security problem started with poor password practices. The McHire system had an administration account that used 123456 as the password, and the default password has never been changed, and there was no multi-factor authentication to add extra protection. The second major problem was insecure direct object reference vulnerability. A technical flaw that meant attackers could change the applicant ID numbers in the system's internal programming. By doing this, they could access any applicant's private information without proper permission. So this was crazy. I will get into more details. What do you think about this security breach of McDonald's McHire chatbot?
Again, this comes down to just plain stupidity and laziness. How many of these hacks happen because default passwords aren't changed or are just kept the same, right? This like any kind of system where you're gathering people's information needs to be secure. It's a given. There's not going to be, well, the company might get fired or whoever involved it might get fired, but there should be more repercussions for this because this is people's personal information and people need to start getting more serious about stuff like this.
64 million applicant records were exposed.
Yeah. And what's going to happen? Nothing. Maybe they'll get sued. Oh, big what? They have to pay out a couple $1 million. But it just underlines the more serious nature of things like this as it happens more and more and more. There was 1 billion records that were hacked. that we covered last month?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one is just a simple, stupid oversight that someone did, that someone left. So there was no two-factor authentication. There were no security protections in place for this account. So, go ahead. Yeah, they deserve this. But sorry to all those people whose information was exposed. But so they relied on this AI chatbot called Olivia from paradox.ai. I don't know who was in charge of the default password, but to automate the early stages of the hiring, including collecting applicant details, resumes, and even administering personality assessments. So, there were security researchers that were doing this. I don't know who the security researchers were, but they found that they could log into a dormant admin portal for a test franchise using the username password 123456, which is crazy. Left the whole back door open. And like you said, once inside, there was a second flaw where they can manipulate applicant ID numbers and a web address. So they could view anyone's application. They can view chat data. It revealed names, contact info, chat histories of millions of applicants. Although, I'll say this, thankfully, it did not include social security numbers or banking data. So what are your thoughts on this, Craig?
Well, it mentions, they could access sensitive chat logs and applicant information by guessing ID numbers. Now, they're usually sequential. So you just kind of, the next one is the next ID number, right?
Yeah.
And so you just have to start going through them. Once you have one, you can go up and down that chain pretty fast to get the information you need. And well, the question is, there's no fixing stupid. And, I say that lightly because, people don't care about security. I can't tell you how many times I brought up security concerns to inside major organizations, and, people don't care.
And a lot of times it's an easy fix.
And so who's to blame? The default password who put it in, tech person who installed it, the admin who's overseeing it, all the individual admins on the system. When you say someone needs to be held accountable, we have standard accounting practices. I guess maybe we need standard security practices for organizations of 10 or more people, or organizations that hold more than 100 people's data, and they must follow these, generally regarded, what do they call them in practice? It's the generally agreed upon standards.
Best practices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a thing, it's an acronym. It doesn't really matter, but it's generally agreed upon accounting practices. So same thing with security. And then if you break those, then maybe you can be held accountable. But there's nobody saying, okay, well, there are some rules about you must secure this and that. Well, it was secure, just nobody changed the password. So after you go after
Well,
the
what was
organization.
secure? Because they didn't change the password.
No, but I mean, agreed. My point being is, who do you go after for that? Like
Yeah.
the third party, like who does the audit, who's responsible? Like, because we don't have a set of security, generally accepted security standards that all organizations must follow or be fined at some level, then this is going to continue to happen. And I'm not a fan of big regulation where we need to really start enforcing more things, but from this kind of thing, as we go more and more online and your identity can be stolen in a heartbeat, yeah, we need some stricter rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes it harder. As soon as you start putting regulation on, everyone I know is starting an online business. Like when I say everyone I know, I mean everyone I know.
Yeah.
And we've all going to have to deal with different security issues, different data that we have to store and all that kind of stuff, and we're all doing it differently.
Yeah.
Mind you, most of the people I'm working with don't have many customers, so it's not as big of a risk. But at the same time, you need to have insurance. You need to have a bunch of stuff related to this when this happens. McDonald's will be okay because I'm sure they have security insurance for this kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
lots of data was compromised. The complete chat logs between the applications and the full name and contact details, email addresses, phone numbers, preferred work shifts, locations for job assignments, complete resume details and work history.
Yeah.
Like, you can easily take someone's identity with this information.
Probably. Yeah.
You've got their full address, phone number, email, their complete work history.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit more difficult without the social security number, but yeah, they could. Yeah.
But I also would imagine, because you're applying for work that might even be in here, I just don't know if they put it. Private conversation, sensitive questions about work, internal message, complete application submission dates, interviewing, scheduling. So I guess you don't necessarily give somebody your social security number until they're hiring you,
Okay.
right? Like till you're signing the paperwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that could easily be part of the hiring process. So now they've had to change some things because they've had reputational damage, legal and compliance issues. The breach likely triggered investigations by data protection authorities. Companies may face fines and legal action for failing to protect personal information properly. However, what does that mean, right? So they have this area where they have these rules, and I say, what does that mean? But we have accountants. People have security officers now, but they're not doing their jobs because technology is expanding so fast and we're using too many third-party apps and whatnot. And trying to say that in a world like McDonald's that the security needs to be on top of all of this, they're probably two people in the organization. I don't know. McDonald's is a big company. So they have to start taking it seriously around this stuff, especially when you expose it. Chatbots are vulnerable, and so you need to be able to secure data in the back end and make sure that you're not giving any of that back.
Yeah, and they're even chatbots are even vulnerable to a bunch of different acts. Remember that person that got the chatbot to give him it was a Ford dealership chatbot. I think we covered it. Yeah,
who brought the price to zero and sold him a car for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are things that you have to be careful of. And when you're doing AI automation, you need to make sure you have someone who knows what they're doing. Also, that people take a long, hard look at, how all these systems are integrated. But we can say all that. But for the most part, it was a bad password.
Yeah.
Once you're into the system, they had this other vulnerability that they've had to since added proper authentication check to ensure users could only access data they had permission to view. And they've added that across their entire security platform. But It's something that probably should have been in place day one. But like I said, everyone I know is building companies, and they wouldn't add a feature like this until after something like this happened. But this is McDonald's, right? It's not but Paradox AI, how big are they?
Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't heard of them until actually, I have heard of the name and I haven't looked into them until, I haven't even looked into them yet, but I didn't, the name wasn't as relevant until this article, if that makes sense.
Yeah, apparently they do AI assistance for all things hiring.
Cool.
Anyway, this just goes to show you that no matter where you are and who you're dealing with, your data isn't necessarily secure, and you need to be like, what is a process for an individual? You didn't hire me, so I want you to remove me from the system. They're going to say, no, we want to keep you in the system just in case.
Yeah.
How do so they actionable prevention recommendations, enhanced authentication mechanisms, API security improvements, third-party risk management, and automated security monitoring. I won't go through the details there. All of that's in the article there on Toronto Starts. And you just got to make sure you've protected yourself. And I guess no matter how much I don't like the two-factor authentication where they text you and stuff, because I think there should be a better way for two-factor. You need a second or third factor in some of these things to keep the data secure. Now you just do.
Yeah, I hate 2FA, but I'm using it for all my sensitive accounts now. Like no matter what. Like there's times where I have to put it in every single time, which I don't mind at all for specific things, but I know it's annoying, but it is like I get notifications sometimes of people trying to get in because of the two-factor authentication. So
what's annoying is that there's not really a good standard. I have like 3 authentication apps, and I have some that email me and some that text me. And so
yeah,
I'm like, and fine. I'm not an old guy. I'll navigate that, but that's me. I just had a deal where we put two-factor authentication on my mother's account, and she was locked out of her banking for a week until I could go down and fix it with her. And that's just, because people don't get it. So it's
Patches are supposed to replace all that, but they're not being implemented that fast yet.
No. And so, an authenticator apps like the Google Authenticator is not bad if you don't mind giving Google your information and stuff. So those types of things.
Microsoft is shutting down, right? So
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because these things change with all these companies, One day they're moving in one direction, next day they do this, then they switch back when they realize security is becoming a bigger issue and they need it in their systems.
Yeah.
So we'd love to know what you think about this McDonald's 64 million employee application information hack, whether they should be held accountable for more than this, and whether organizations need to be held to a higher standard around this, and individuals as well, because you could say organizations, but it's one person who didn't change the password or 10 people. So are they personally responsible for this? And then, who's going to want to take a job around this if they forget to take their password? We'd love to hear what your thoughts on how this would work and where we should go. So what do you got going on, John?
Oh, I don't even know when this is coming out. So September?
No, we're only a couple of weeks ahead now, so it'll probably come out late July. So if this isn't coming before July 22nd, we have a July 22nd Flowgrammer meetup featuring Superbase. Going to be great. I think you're presenting at that. I'm presenting that. We got a couple other people lined up. The swag from Superbase has been sent, so it's on its way. Awesome. I don't know what that is, but we'll see when it arrives. And in August, we'll be doing another Flowgrammer event. I haven't picked the date and whatnot yet. And we'll be back at Start of Investor Drinks in September. But what do you got going on? I saw something where you're presenting.
Oh, yeah. Well, this will be passed. It's life. Yeah. I will have presented on government funding. And if you have any questions on government funding, reach out to me on LinkedIn, John Irwin.
Fantastic. For everything else, check out flowgrammer.ca for business and AI automation. We'd love to hear from you. If you're looking to automate stuff in your business, go over to flowgrammer.ca. Find out our events in Toronto where we do our local meetup events. We're going to start some online stuff, some inner circle stuff coming soon. But check out everything going on over there for business automation. Book a free call if you like. And for everything else, for our startup community, go check out torontostarts.com. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening.
Thanks, everyone.